So I'm going to have a crack at building an entire web app in Claude Code using Agent Teams. This is a new experimental feature in Claude Code designed to make you spend lots of money and eat up all your tokens. I'm going to see if it's actually any good by building a Reddit monitoring tool that scans Reddit to find relevant posts that I might want to respond to, drafts responses, and also finds emerging trends. So before we start building, I'm going to show you my Claude usage because we're going to come back to this at the end of the video and see how much this cost in tokens. So as you can see at the moment, we're on the Claude Max plan and we're at 0% usage in our current session and our weekly limit is at 5%. So we'll see where we end up at the end once we finished building. So firstly, what actually are agent teams and why might you want to use them? So as the name suggests, it basically allows you to spin up a team of agents that can work on the same project in parallel, which theoretically means you can get more work done in less time with better results because each agent can be specialized. It can have its own specific role. Now, you might be wondering, isn't this just sub-agents? The difference between sub-agents and agent teams is that the sub-agents or the team members can communicate between themselves. So I drew this handy little diagram. Basically, this is sub-agents. You have an agent that is in charge, and that agent can just spin up sub-agents to do some work and then send that work back to the main agent. Agent teams, a little bit different in that you still have a main agent who can spin up sub-agents, but those sub-agents can communicate with all of the other agents and send work between them. So it emulates how a real team might work in the real world. And it means that all the sub-agents are a bit more equal. They can all kind of chip in from different angles rather than this kind of hierarchy where everything goes back to the main agent. Now, there's also a pretty big technical difference, which is that with sub-agents, you have one shared context window that all of these agents are adding to. With agent teams, each sub-agent or team member has its own context window. So that's the reason why this is quite an expensive way of working, because it's basically no different to you having 5 Claude windows open at the same time. So you really want to only be doing this for situations where having that communication between agents as they're working makes sense. And building a web app to me feels like a perfect example of that, because just like in the real world, you want to have that real-time feedback between QA, front end, back end, etc. You don't want to get to the end of the project and realize that a critical part of the infrastructure has been built completely inadequately. So let's jump into VS Code and I'll just talk through my setup here. So I spent about an hour yesterday going back and forward with Claude to put together a brief for this project. So we got this prd.md file, which has a clear brief for what it is that we're building. And one of the things that I've done is I've created a plans folder with a markdown file for every single phase or feature of this. So you can see we've got backend foundation, authentication, RSS fetching, user activity tracking, etc. Now, this is generally good practice to do with any Claude Code project, but it's especially important if you're building with an agent team, because it means that you've got this persistent source of truth for what it is that you're building that all of the team members can access. It's basically like popping a big brief in the middle of the room with your team members and saying you can all access this at any point in time to work out what it is that you're building. Otherwise, what I would expect to happen is that over time, you get a bit of a game of Chinese whispers going on where as the agents start to reach their context window limit and they start compacting conversations, important bits of context start to get missed and each agent kind of goes a little bit rogue and starts building random things. So this is basically a hedge against that and just means that hopefully everyone stays on track and we have a clear brief of what needs to be built in what order and which agents need to be involved in each step. Next thing to point out, and this is important if you're using agent teams, is in the .claude folder, we've got a settings.json file, and I've just added Claude Code experimental agent teams equals 1. This is something that you need to do to enable agent teams just because it's an experimental feature at the moment. Also, just to touch on something that you're not seeing here, normally when I spin up a new Claude Code project, I'll give it a default list of things that I'm happy to give it permissions to. Reason for this is just so I don't have to keep clicking auto accept for things that I'm happy for it to be able to do, like read and write files in the directory. But I found that it's generally not a good idea to do this with agent teams. There seems to be a bit of a quirk at the moment where the permissions only seem to be given to the main agent, but don't always get passed down to the sub-agents. So I found that generally starting with a clean slate and then giving permissions manually, at least for the first kind of 15-20 minutes, means that the sub-agents are more likely to have the permissions that they need. I had a project yesterday where I was building something and all the sub-agents did all their work and then they randomly didn't have access to write files. And so the team member agent then kept spinning them up to do it again. So it ended up basically being an infinite loop that basically just wasted a load of tokens. Then finally, we've got the Claude.md file and directives and execution. This is just a default structure that I quite like that says basically add documentation into the directives folder. And then generally here, I'm just encouraging Claude Code to write deterministic code, create scripts and put them into the execution folder. So rather than kind of building this house of cards where everything is reliant on the LLM, we're instead using the LLM to write deterministic code that can then run reliably and consistently. So these two folders are currently empty, but what we'll see is when we start running this, it should start creating files in those. And that's it. So we're going to get cracking with the build. I'm going to drop this prompt in here telling it to look at our brief and then create an agent team to build it with 3 teammates, front end, back end, and a devil's advocate. Devil's advocate, I always like adding in there because it critiques the work that the other agents does and generally makes them better. Now, there's always a bit of an art to knowing how many agents or teammates you want to have working on a project. Obviously, the more you add, the more expensive it becomes. The faster you can get the work done in theory, but I generally find that beyond about 4 or 5 agents, it starts to actually slow everything down, and you almost get this kind of agentic groupthink happening where everything becomes a little bit safer and kind of reverting into the mean. So I'm sticking with 3 agents here. I like to think of this almost like if in the real world I wanted to get a project like this done, how many people ideally would I want to kind of have a scrappy team that is going to move fast, but equally have enough individual expertise to do the job well? One other thing just to note is that we're using the Claude Code extension in VS Code for this. A big disadvantage of this is that currently in the native UI for this, you can't see the work that your individual agents are doing like you would be able to do in the command line interface. I didn't really want to be working in the command line today, so just something to consider. If you do want to see your different agents and be able to kind of communicate with each of them individually or have kind of split panes, you're going to need to use something like item2 or use the command line interface. But we're going to go ahead like this today. So I'm going to send that and we'll see what it comes back with. Okay, so you can see it's read through our 14 planning files. It's then created a team successfully, so that's worked. Then it's created basically a system prompt for each of our agents. So we've got our backend developer, we've got the front end designer agent, and we've got our devil's advocate team lead. So then worked out what each one is going to do and created this to-do list. And we can see that our backend engineer is on phase 1, front end is doing this, and then devil's advocate is going to review the architecture and do a security review. But we can see that they are actually doing stuff based on the new files being added into the directives folder and also execution. So the agents have already built all of these scripts, and we can see every now and again a new file gets added. There we go. There's another one. It's just done the backend architecture. So we'll just wait for a few minutes for this to finish and then come back when we get our first status update from the agent. So the backend developer has been prolific. We've got 13 files created with 3,900 lines of code. Devil's Advocate has done its thing. It's found some reckless security issues that the backend engineer has done. And our front-end engineer seems to be sleeping, so it hasn't actually done any work yet. And I can see that the team lead is messaging the front-end dev to get them to wake up and actually do some work. Seems like they've got stuck reading a skills file. And okay, wow, so it looks like it's fired the front-end dev for sleeping on the job, and it's gone and hired front-end dev 2 to do a better job. Wowee, we got some real Claude Code drama going on here. Our team leaders basically said, screw the front end developers, I'm going to build this directly. This is uncannily similar to what happens in the real world. So we now have an unqualified team lead building the front end of our app. What could possibly go wrong? So I think we're about to find out. So this is just finished building the first version. It's compiling properly. So just need to deploy it onto Modal, and I've got a few jobs to do around setting passwords. Modal, by the way, is what I use for hosting any agentic workflows and AI infrastructure. Reason being is that it's very easy to use and incredibly cheap. So when you sign up, you get $5 in free credits, which should last you about 200 to 300 years at this pricing. I use it to host a ton of different workflows that I run, and I think I've used about 50 cents. You also get an extra $30 if you put your card in. So basically, it's incredibly hard to actually pay this company any money, which is the kind of company that I like. So just going to deploy this. Okay, so it's been deployed onto Modal and we've got this link. So I'm just going to pop in a password here and let's see what we've got. That looks pretty decent to me. So basically how this is supposed to work is every day at 6 a.m. it should run, and we should also be able to run a scout manually where it goes off to Reddit and finds any relevant posts that we might be able to provide a response to. So my thinking was that we upload knowledge into a knowledge base. So for example, we can add URL. So it's already preloaded this one in here from a site that I've built. So we can add assets and attach keywords to them. So if any of these keywords get mentioned in a specific subreddit, then we get notified as maybe we want to write a response featuring some of the information from this link. And we've got a tone profile. So it's created just this default one, which is kind of based on the general nuances that work on Reddit. Trends. So this is kind of like a gummy search feature where it's basically going to find any keywords in our particular subreddits that seem to be merging. I think we've set it as like any noun that's had at least 15 mentions in the last week and at least a 200% increase in instances. So then in the settings, we've got different profiles. We can set up which subreddits we want to monitor. We can attach a ratio of how many posts we want it to return. Promotional ratio. So how this works is basically when it finds an opportunity, it's going to use an LLM to draft up a response. And we can suggest the ratio of how many are promotional versus none. So if it's set at 50%, for example, half the responses it generates are going to have a link to one of our articles. Half are just going to be purely providing an answer. So this is kind of crucial on Reddit because you don't want to be overly promotional. And I think generally on Reddit, there's kind of a consensus that like 10% is about right. Confidence threshold, I'm not quite sure what that's doing at the moment. And then it's going to send me an email every day at 7 o'clock. And that doesn't seem to be working. So it seems a little bit janky in places. There's some things that aren't working quite right. But as a first pass, this is not too bad. So first thing I want to do is run an actual scout and see if that functionality is working. So that doesn't seem quite right to me. So I'm going to go back to VS Code, do a bit of back and forward just to tighten some of these things up and see if we can get this to a point where we can run our first scout. Okay, so it's made a couple of fixes. Basically, some of the defaults were set to be a little bit too strict. So we've made them a little bit more lenient. And I've just ran a new scout. So hopefully we get something back. Okay, so this looks like it is actually working. It's basically getting each conversation on Reddit, categorizing whether or not it's relevant for us to respond to, and then posting it to OpenAI. Now, immediately this tells me that we probably need to have a limit on the number of conversations that we're going to go and fetch each day. Basically what we're doing is we're using the RSS feed. So this is likely going to be getting hundreds of conversations and categorizing them, which is not going to be very efficient. As we can see, it's still running. Okay, so I've asked it to basically add a rate limiter to only get the last 15 conversations. So now if we run this again, is it going to fetch anything? Yes. Okay. Hello. This is nice. So it looks like it's actually got some opportunities. It's categorized them as non-promotional or promotional. And then we've got a confidence rating of how good a fit each one is. So I'm interested if we click into it. Okay, cool. So it's generating 3 drafts for each one. That is probably overkill. We probably need to reduce that so that we are not absolutely slamming my OpenAI credits. And then if I click on this, is this actually a post or has it hallucinated? No. Okay, so that's actually a post. Someone saying automation creates more notifications, not results until multi-agent workflows. Yeah, pretty much agree with that. So it's given me some drafts and that's not a bad response. I could more or less post that verbatim. It's not completely dialed in with my tone, but if we go into the knowledge bank and to the tone profile, this is currently just based on a standard system prompt for Reddit. This is not taking into account any of my actual writing for how I post. So what I would like to be able to do is add some extra information and examples of my writing, which hopefully improve how it's writing to sound a little bit more naturally like me. So as a first draft, that's not bad. There's quite a few things that I'm seeing that I think could be improved and tightened up. But at this point, the fact that the back end is working, like this has actually run, it's gone and fetched all these, it's sent these to AI to generate some actual responses and everything looks legit. So I'm going to give this a few rounds of feedback to tighten up some of the features that I think could just be refined a little bit. I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time on this because this is just basically just a little MVP project for myself. By the way, if you would find this interesting, let me know. If there's enough interest, I might put this onto a public domain and then other people can use it. But at the moment, this is kind of just to help me streamline something that I currently do quite manually. So just to show you some of the bits and pieces that I'm asking it to do. So there's a few little bugs like the run history page doesn't actually load. I'm going to get it to generate only 1 draft per response and then have a little regenerate response button so that we're not generating 3 responses for every post. So on the trend front, it's not quite done what I envisaged. So at the moment, it's basically finding words that are mentioned multiple times. How I kind of want this to work is to almost have like a horizontal bar chart where any sort of proper noun or like the name of a tool, I want to be able to kind of see the number of occurrences, so the absolute number of mentions, and then also the percentage increase of that. So I can quickly see like, okay, this week OpenClaw is trending and that's something I might want to create videos on or just go and explore to learn a bit more about myself. Like that's kind of the utility of this. So there's a few things like that. I'm just going to bosh this in and we'll see what comes back. Okay, so I've made some tweaks. It's still not perfect. There's still quite a few things that I ideally want it to do, but a few new things we got going on. So we now have Email's working successfully. So now when a scout runs, it sends an email. So I should get one of these every day at 7 a.m. with emerging trends and any opportunities in the last 24 hours for Reddit posts to respond to. And then we've got the draft response. Then in the app itself, I've mostly just tidied up things like how it's pulling in information from the different subreddits. We've also now in the knowledge base, we've got expertise, so we can add information about ourselves. In the tone profile, I've added previous examples of Reddit posts I've written, so hopefully gets my tone a bit better. Trends, this is still not quite there, so it's pulling in a lot of words that are obviously not proper nouns like doing and faster. Over time, this should naturally fix itself as we get more posts to pull from. But generally speaking, the structure of this is now working, like something that is marked as a trend. We're now connecting it to all the posts that mention that. So I can see that working, but it just needs a little bit more tweaking. And then in the actual opportunities, these are starting to get better. The tone is still not quite there. Another nice thing is we've now got profiles, so we can jump between our email marketing account and our AI automation one, just examples. But this just means we can have a separate knowledge bank, separate subreddits for different topics to kind of keep things nice and granular. So yeah, it's coming along. As I say, I think I've probably got a bit more hacking away at this to make this something that is going to add value, but I can see it being something that's going to save me quite a lot of time. And overall, all in all, that build process was pretty smooth. Now, although I'm pretty happy with the direction this is going, I'd say from a Claude Code Agent Teams perspective, this is not the best example of it because generally with Agent Teams, you want to see the agents communicating with each other. So in our case, it would be the team lead, the front-end developer, and the back-end developer communicating between themselves, whereas we didn't really see that. I think in this case, sub-agents would have been just as good. In hindsight, I think probably what we should have done is added in a QA engineer to QA the work that the front-end and the back-end developer did as they went along, because then we would have seen a bit more communication in real time as the features are being built, whereas we didn't really see that. We saw the front-end developer die and get fired. The backend developer basically just did all its work, and then the devil's advocate team lead reviewed that work, sent some changes back, but it was pretty synchronous. Like it was essentially the same as what I'd expect to see if we had these fire up as sub-agents. So not the best use case, but generally I'm not too unhappy because frankly, it's built this, it's done a pretty good job of it, so I can't really complain too much. So one last thing, I mentioned at the start of the video that we'd compare our usage to see how much this actually costs to build. So we're at 8% of our current session and 11% of our weekly limits. I believe we started at 0% and 5%. So we've used about 6% of the weekly limit for Claude, which based on how much I'm paying translates to about £2 to £3. So what's that? About $4 to $5 worth of tokens to build that, which is much less than I was expecting. Sometimes when I've got a bit trigger happy with agent teams and spun up 5 agents to build something, it's ended up using a third to half my quota, but a couple of dollars for a working web app is pretty insane. Now, admittedly, we only actually ended up having 2 agents in our team because that front-end developer was a bit sleepy, but even so, that usage is pretty good considering the scale of what we've just built. So I hope that was interesting. If you've got any questions about Claude Code or agent teams, drop them in the comments below. Equally, I'm still learning this stuff, so if you've got any suggestions or little tips for me, feel free to add them as well. And one question I had is whether you guys would find it useful or not to have a private community around building things in Claude Code. Part of me thinks, does YouTube need another community? There's so many of these AI automation communities already, probably don't need another one. At the same time, I kind of feel like I would quite like to have a private community of people that are also going down this rabbit hole. So let me know if it'd be useful. If there's enough interest, I might spin one up. Otherwise, hope you found that useful and I'll see you in the next video.